Hello?
What's up, girl? What happened after Tony dumped you?
Girl, I'm over it. I went from heartbreak to hate.
Hi, Bob. I was trying to beat you to the punch.
I know, but the punch is spiked.
Yep.
And here we are again.
And it's a threesome.
It's a threesome.
Yay.
It's our first threesome.
Hi, Ariam.
Hi, guys.
How's it going?
So good. It's so nice to be here.
Thank you for joining us in the studio. Air quotes.
It is the studio.
And it's exciting. We've kind of talked about having a guest on.
Yeah.
And we haven't made it happen, so you're the first. You're the
exciting.
pioneer.
Yeah.
She's the pioneer. She also was not the first guest on my radio show, but the second guest because Joy was the first.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you and Lindsay came on.
Yeah.
It was all 2 years ago now.
That
Can you
was
believe
super
that?
fun.
That was lots of fun.
But that was 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was so late.
It was like 11 o'clock or something.
Midnight to 2.
Midnight, that's right.
I love that
Yeah,
your
that's
parents
tough.
stayed up for it. That was
Yeah, I know. They were like texting me. They were like, oh, we hear you.
Yeah. So, we're going to play a game
Yay.
for Black History Month. And if y'all don't know, I identify as a white male.
Right? I think that's shocking to our listeners. They wouldn't have known that.
Well, a gay white male.
Okay,
Because I have
fair.
that qualifier.
Gotta get
because
that in
makes
there.
me just a little bit better of a person. Because if I was
Right.
just a straight white male, then I'm shit, right?
True.
Because crackers ain't shit, crackers ain't shit. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, find Joy's new single.
Yeah.
It's a hit. It's a hit.
It's a hit.
It's a
I don't think
banger,
kids
for
say banger anymore, but
No,
I
they
liked
don't.
banger.
I did too.
Reminds
But
me of
yes.
sex.
And so I identify as a straight black female.
Another,
You know, all the things, saying all the
Yes.
things.
another straight black female.
Another straight black female.
Another straight black female.
Okay. So, we thought we would talk about some topics close to Black home. Which I think it's Georgia. Isn't that what we decided? I don't know what exact.
Well, the Mecca is in Atlanta.
The Mecca
right?
is Atlanta.
Right, so there's that.
And it is one of the 13 colonies, so it is one of the first states in the United States, right? So, Georgia,
So you feel like that makes it that much
I don't
more
think it
special?
makes it better. And that's where, it means where the first slaves were, so I guess that makes
Right,
it worse.
that makes it worse. I was
So
like,
why are we in Atlanta? I don't understand.
It's
Like,
memorable.
take your asses to the mountains.
well, but
No
it's like
Montana
the one
was-
oasis in
Montana.
Georgia. 'Cause, you know, Georgia's a very
Well, Joy told me there's
Republican.
12 black people in Montana.
Yeah, I feel. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
no,
have
there's-
scientific proof.
There's no
but
black people in Montana.
exactly. Why would
There's
there?
Like
only 8
Wyoming,
people.
Montana. Yeah, no.
So, so Joy, you showed us something that you wanted to talk about.
I did. Okay, yes, this is probably a good place to start. Why do you always get me riled up? So
She brought this herself, so she got herself riled up.
I did-
This is
well-
self-rilification.
that's true. That's true. And I want to maybe be able to quote it correctly, but yeah. So there was this Facebook post that somebody showed someone on Instagram. Said, new trend alert, the silky hair sheet. Fashion gurus are blazing a trail with this innovative look.
It's a do-rag.
It's a do-rag. It is a white girl in a do-rag pretending that she's wearing something new. And black people everywhere are asking, how is it that you are going to Christopher Columbus the do-rag of all things?
Silky hair sheet though, like I just, and also there's no way to make a do-rag look like it's not a do-rag.
exactly.
So you couldn't even.
Like in the front, like she was trying to pretend like it was a sleek black hat or something. But then as soon as you turn
Yeah,
around,
the
it's
flap
a
is in the
do-rag.
back,
Like you
yeah.
see, you're just
No, I
like...
mean, even if it was made into a beanie, that would still be culturally appropriating.
Yeah.
So there's like...
Hair scarf.
Would you like to explain what a do-rag is? For someone
Absolutely.
who might not be who might have not ever seen a do-rag?
Absolutely. So a do-rag is, a silky piece of fabric. We black folk use them to keep our hair nice and oiled. Guys use them, or girls use them to form waves in their hair. So like the longer you keep the do-rag in, the more the juices get going, the better the waves get like on the cut. I feel like now I have to explain what waves are. Waves are like the lines in like short haircuts, if that makes sense.
Yeah. the things that white people cannot achieve.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you've ever seen a black gentleman just brushing his hair forward, he's trying to keep those waves in there,
Exactly.
trying to create new waves.
New waves.
Hey, yeah, it's just another weird example of, you know, how white people sometimes take things that have already existed in the black community that we've used for years and years, pretend like it's something new,
Yeah.
slap a new name on it, and call it a good day.
Appropriation.
Yeah.
What was that again?
Appropriation.
Yeah. There's definitely things that our culture has appropriated from black people. Thank you for rock and roll. You can't
You're
have
welcome.
it back. There's some things you just can't have back. But yeah, it's like someone finding a dildo and saying this would make a good back massager.
Oh yeah, it's just like that. That's such a good way to explain.
Yeah,
Wow.
like I found this back massager in my mom's drawer. No, that's got your mom's juices all over it. Put it back. Let's hope she boiled it, but she knows she don't. She never cleans their dildos like they're supposed to. Do you ever read the package and clean them? And I'm just assuming you have a dildo.
Right.
Do you have one?
Of course I do. But that's not the point. The point is I don't have to read the package because you get the separate cleaner. Okay, you just spring for the money and get the separate cleaner. I will have you know that Sue
She's a tidy person, y'all.
That's right. Sue Johansson taught me how to properly clean
that's
all
right.
of my sex
Yeah.
toys.
Sue, you probably don't know Sue Johansson,
No,
but she was our
no.
generation's like
Dr. Ruth.
Dr. Ruth.
But
So-
like super sex focused,
yeah,
like practical.
she like got
Dope.
she like got
You know.
held up at an airport because she had 37 vibrators in her suitcase. And she was just
Yes.
taking them to show people vibrators. So like, and she all about.
She would answer no question was too crazy for her. She would answer any sex
She was
Was she like a
Canadian,
TV
A1.
person?
She was Canadian.
Oh,
Mhm.
wow.
And people always be like, Dr. Sue, and she'd be like, oh no, honey, I'm not a doctor. She would always correct people, and then at the end they would have like their sex toy of the week or whatever.
Oh, that's so dope.
She would do these little bits where she would be standing in the kitchen, and she would be like, "Why am I standing here? Because certain sex toys can be washed in the dishwasher." Oh yeah, she.
Yeah,
We don't even have. I feel like we don't have a pseudo.
because y'all can Google anything, right?
I mean, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But
you
still,
guys have
it's just
free
not the same.
porn.
But still.
We didn't have free porn when we were kids.
We didn't.
You had to pay for it
Yeah.
and wait for it on dial-up. And before that, you had to steal someone's straight porn just to jerk off at the parts where they actually showed the dick. That never happened. So,
Oh, goodness.
anyway, this is getting off topic.
It is getting off topic, but it was fun nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, unless
Sometimes
you
you
want
take
to
a
talk
fun
about dick,
detour.
we can talk about
We
dick.
don't have to,
excursion.
but you know, it was
Yeah.
a fun detour. I mean, unless Ariam wants to talk about dick for some reason.
Do you have a dick reason?
Do I have a reason?
A reason?
I do.
I like that.
You know you're in apartment D, right?
Really?
Yeah.
That's so perfect. Well, now I have to talk about it. Yeah, we were just, earlier fellowshipping about dick experiences. And I guess, yeah, I've just been having a dilemma because dick is confusing and
What is that?
niggas ain't shit. And
I mean, I'm not allowed to say it, but I've
No.
heard it before.
Yeah, Bob has heard it. There may or may not have been a song recorded this weekend. We named the title "They Ain't Shit" so
Right.
that you can find it, search for it, regardless of your race. But
And if you do like me in rap songs, say fucka instead of the N-word.
right,
or,
a nice
Or
replacement.
cracka.
Right.
It works just the same.
Yeah, but I had just had this whole niggas ain't shit demon that was in my spirit
Had to get
and
it out.
decided to exercise that by creating a song.
the demon is always there,
Yeah.
to be honest,
The
because
dick demon?
the niggas ain't shit demon.
Oh.
And you know what's crazy though about that is we were having this conversation, my friends and I constantly are just talking about how terrible guys are because we all just have bad experiences all the time. But whenever we talk about it, have you ever had the conversation when straight men are around? Or straight black men are around?
Yeah.
They just come out of their bodies to be
They do.
that's not true, I'm such a good guy, I love my mom.
It's true. It's true. To say that they do not take constructive criticism well would
At
be an
all.
understatement.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because they'll just ignore any kind of facts and just
like experiences that you've had. in real
like you'll be
life.
like, no, I can remember on this date, and I will give you all the truths. You know what I mean? Like real calmly, step by step, and then just be like, false. The brain does not compute.
Exactly.
None of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, so, on this day in Black History,
Right.
Ariam, what's up?
Yeah, well, it's not really a day. It has been most of this month. I've just been going through it, you guys, with this guy, and he is also Black, and I'm just confused. I don't know what's going on. I feel like, should I talk about, like, the background of the whole thing, or should I just talk about the issue that I'm having specifically?
Whatever you'd like to talk about.
Okay. Well, I guess my whole thing is I don't feel comfortable being vulnerable and having a conversation with somebody about, like, where we stand. But I think that that's really bogus, considering that we have already, like, made the adult decision to, like, have sex with each other and all of that stuff. So we should be able to talk to each other.
You would think that.
I was gonna say,
she's very wise for her age.
You really are.
No,
Honestly.
because I was talking to a friend of mine today, and that's what he said. He was like, well, if you already exchanged bodily fluids, so you should be able to exchange grown words.
This is an older.
No, we're the same age. It's the gay friend that I was telling you about.
Yeah.
He's very insightful.
Okay. He cooked faster.
Yeah, but he's been in a relationship for like a while now, so he's very like
that'll help.
wise on things.
Yeah, it is insightful, and you'd like to think that once you exchange fluids with somebody else, that you'd be able to have a conversation.
Right.
But that quite often just doesn't really work with the straight male. You know what I mean?
I mean, motherfuckers can't even tell you they had something in their fluids.
Okay, just the truth of it all. They don't know how their bodies work, let alone how your body works. And so now you want to have vulnerable, real honest conversations.
Right.
It's not usually.
The next vulnerable conversation is, got my STD test back.
Oh, no.
Just want to let you know, maybe you gave me the herpes.
Oh, no.
We're just for instancing.
I'm like,
Her face is unstunned.
Scaring her. She's like, I will never come back here. That's the truth.
I mean, you know me, so you know sort of what to expect coming into this, right?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
But yeah, I mean, you'd think that people could be grown and have conversations, but I don't know.
No. The unfortunate part is that it usually turns into a game, because it's like,
That's what, it feels like it's very much so like, what are we doing? Like, then, but I've also realized that guys, like, love to play games but say that they like directness, but totally don't. Like, they love games and waiting to text, because they're not very strategic about most things, but they do definitely think about, like, when they want to text back, and, like, all of that type of stuff is very, like, purposeful. I've noticed. And
then know when you're asleep, so they know the text when you're asleep.
Yeah.
And, like, they know when you're in class.
Just all of, at work. All of that stuff.
Because that's where we have problems, is people text us and want to have full-on conversations when we're at work. It's like, motherfucker, you don't have a job, I understand. But I have a job, and I can't sit here and talk to you about this. Or
especially
go have sex with you right now.
Especially when you're trying to talk to me in initials, and I'm out here giving full sentences. Yeah.
And that's the other thing. Like, sometimes you want to make wonderful, and all of this, because I know I'm kind of jumping all over the place, all of this does tie back to this one guy that we've been talking about, because all of these are things that I've been experiencing. But sometimes the texts are, like, great conversation, and I don't really like texting, so it's like, if I want to talk to him, sometimes I'll just FaceTime him. Yeah. Because I like FaceTime. Black people love FaceTime, I feel like.
And speakerphone.
Speakerphone. Yes! We love... Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm not trying to be racist.
No, we totally do.
Those functions are only for y'all.
Yes. Because I want to have a conversation with you. I don't want to be typing around back and forth, this, that, and the other. Like... But sometimes he'll make really good conversation, and sometimes it's just like, okay, well, like, do you want to talk? Like, you didn't have to text me.
Right, like if you're not gonna say anything, let's just end this right now.
Right. It's like, so are you just texting me to like make sure I'm still breathing? Like, I don't.
Does he have you have an iPhone, right?
I do, yes.
Does he have an iPhone?
Yes.
Just leave him on the dots. Type something and never send.
Does that stay like that forever if you like?
Just until you finish it.
Really?
Until you hit send, does it not go away?
Wow. Ooh. That's a cool.
Yeah, because my friends will always be like, "Oh, you were typing something for like 2 days, and then when I get it, it says okay." Like,
Whoa.
my friend sent me this meme of a skeleton, like someone holding a skeleton holding a phone, and was like waiting for Bob to reply to a text.
See, no. And that's the thing, like, I'm really bad at texting back, and I really don't like to text people. But if I like somebody, then, of course, obviously, you know, I want to be texting. But...
So what do you feel is your next move?
I mean, I don't know. He just FaceTimed me, and I didn't pick up. So there's that. I also... You know how you can, like, do the, like, just thumbs up or, like, haha to text now?
Yeah.
I just thumbs up the text that he sent me. But see, now I don't like that because it's like I'm just feeding into this game. Because I really would like to just text him and have a conversation, but I don't want, like...
I mean, feel free. I support anything that a woman does. So feel free if you need to text him during the podcast to do so. If you feel the need to do that.
But also don't.
But also don't.
I'm like, what?
Let him simmer. Let him cook. He needs to cook some more.
That's what I'm saying. But this is so exhausting because it's not like I'm trying. Like, we've already been hanging out. We've already been having sex. We've already been. So I just feel like I'm working like backwards. Like, I felt like I was doing less. Well, I mean, I guess that's natural. But, like, I was doing less when this all started.
Yeah, I feel that though relationships are the opposite of what they used to be. Like, obviously, you don't, like, wait to have sex till you're married anymore. Nobody does that. If you do that, good on you. I don't know. They're trying to take my rights away to marry anyway, and I've been non-virginized for a long time ago. But it's reverse. Like, people meet through apps now and then build their relationships off that. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. Sometimes you wish they didn't know where you lived anymore. Sometimes they accidentally show up and deliver a pizza to your house.
What?
That just happened. But,
What?
yeah. I hooked up with a guy and they ended up delivering a pizza to my house like 2 weeks later.
Damn.
So I can't even order pizza from that place anymore.
Damn.
And then I can't order pizza because of one of her exes. So never fuck a pizza man if you like that pizza. I know you live across the street from Rosati's, so you always got that across the street. But we ain't got pizza across the street from us. We got high school.
That's true. We're limited by our options now.
Yeah.
It's just as bad as like my mom used to always say, "Don't find your honey where you make your money." It's the same.
Ooh,
the same
I like
concept.
that.
Yeah.
I like that.
And of course, I had to prove her wrong, but I didn't prove her wrong because it's like they tell you what to do, and you're like, "False! I'm gonna be the exception to
And then you're
this
like,
rule."
"No,
And it's like,
you were
no,
right."
there was a reason.
Yeah.
Damn it! And I tried. I'm hard headed, so I tried multiple times. That's okay.
I'm playing the silent card on that discussion. So we'll come back to you, but let's pivot. As two black females, I would like to know, because white people have all kinds of stereotypes for black people. I'm interested in hearing about some stereotypes black people have of white people.
Wow. Would you like to start?
Well, we kind of discussed this, and it's true that a lot of black people will say that white people smell like wet dog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing.
I'm not here to say it's wrong.
I'm not
right.
saying it's true or false. I'm just saying
I know that
we have discussed it at the meetings. There is a consensus.
Yeah,
but there's
yeah.
a weird thing.
Yeah. It's just really when you guys will sweat, and then that, like, this, like, you know what's also a thing? Do you know how black people say that, like, outside is a smell? Like, you smell like outside?
Yeah, absolutely, you smell like outside.
White people don't really know that that's a thing.
Well, I know it's a thing.
But see, like, in my experience...
But you don't normally fully count.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I'll accept that as a mark in my not white category.
But no, like, they don't know.
But it's true. We absolutely say you smell like outside.
Okay, this is going to sound back to that statement about white people smelling like dogs. But when my dog goes outside for a long period of time,
so maybe that's why
I will say he smells like he's been outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, outside is definitely a smell. Outside is definitely a smell.
I don't know if it's really a stereotype or if it's just truth, but there's definitely white people can't wait to tell. Like y'all can't wait to tell about something.
Oh, you mean like anything black people do?
Well, just anything anybody does. If they see wrong, they feel like it's their, like, they're, in class or something. They got to go find a teacher of some sort, tell something.
Like kind of like snitching by nature.
Oh, yeah. We totally
They got to find the usher, they got to find the police, they got to find the managers and report what is incorrect.
You always want to be, like, right in the situation.
Well, when you grow up and you're in the situation where everybody has to be the one to tell, it's important when you get older to take your chances at telling them when you can.
See, but when we were kids,
it's
like you got in trouble for snitching. That was like,
yes.
Like you go and snitch, like you were going to get a reward, and you liable to get your ass beat for doing that.
See, my problem is I always snitch on myself.
Oh.
Like, I'll do something bad, and I'll go over to tell a whole bunch of people, you know what I just fucking did? You know what I said to this motherfucker? Like, that's... You
would never make a good criminal.
No, and I think that's why I worked in the police system, to hide my criminal activity.
Yeah.
Truth.
Do you have any more stereotypes that you can think of off the top of your head?
Isn't
it just a stereotype that white people are racist in general?
Is it like a stereotype?
Or the truth? I mean, sometimes stereotypes have a base in truth.
True.
Because, like, I'll put it out there. There is CP time.
Oh, totally a thing.
So, and that's something that you guys will definitely say.
Oh, yeah.
Is a truth. And so... I mean, Joy is typically an on-time person.
So on time. But I have those family members that, we tell them a different time than we tell everybody else. Like, the function is starting at 12. Be sure you tell so-and-so that it starts at 10:30. So, that's just true.
I expected more out of you guys. I wanted more controversy.
I just, things always just come up. Like, I feel like it's too much to think of. Okay, like, partying with white people is very, like, intense. Like, you guys are very, like, determined to get messed up. Like, that's what it keeps happening on the table, but, like, extremely, like, I'm going to start drinking at this time, I'm going to drink this much, it's going to happen, I'm going to be messed up at this time.
Yeah, it's true. It's totally true.
It's like, I've noticed that
I took last Friday off because I knew I was going to get drunk.
See?
Yeah. White people are the reason that peer pressure is, like, a thing. Because black people don't really do that. Like, if you're drinking with black people and like, you decide you don't want anymore, they're like, do what you do.
That is so true.
You know what I mean? But, like, white people badger you.
Have another shot.
How come you don't have more? Your cup is empty. What? And you're like, calm all the way down. You're living your best life.
I'm sorry, fucking hospitable Joy. I know
you know what I'm talking about.
Totally true. Totally true, yes. I will say, though, like, yeah, absolutely. Like, if you're with white people, you're doing what they're doing. But if you're with black people, like, somebody could be on the couch smoking by themselves.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, I definitely have a lot of black female friends, and there have been times where, like, we hang out at one person's house, and one person, they bring your own shit. You're not like, even sharing with anybody. Right. Some people ain't drinking, some people are. Yeah. And it makes people uncomfortable. Like, I was an alcoholic. Then there was a time where I was not an alcoholic. And so people would party at my house, and I didn't drink. And I know it makes people really uncomfortable, especially if I don't drink and I don't, like, smoke pot, and I'm just standing there completely sober. judging you, but still sober. But people, and these were always white people.
Yeah.
Now I do have a couple of rowdy black friends, and our goal is to be messy.
Yeah.
Suck messy dick. Just do messy things. So
There's exceptions
get
to
kicked
every
out of
rule.
bars, that kind of stuff. We don't do that anymore. We're old. We're in our 40s now. That was so like when we were 41. Yeah. Since we are here with black people, and I don't get to talk to black people that often because I'm from a tiny little small town where no black people exist. Just kidding. I have black people in my house all the time.
I can't with you. Just whenever you say something ridiculous.
I know. I think I have to say things ridiculously because it's nice to laugh at craziness like that, right?
It is.
Sometimes it's just too real.
That's true.
So I like to poke fun at that.
And especially, I think you're poking fun because we were about to have a very real discussion.
Let's have a real discussion
about phrases.
So,
let's start with person of color because
Person
I
of
know
color.
that's the one that was getting fired up, and I was like, no.
Okay. So Joy and I have actually talked about person of color before.
Yeah.
And Joy, you were kind of like, whatever.
I am kind of whatever. Like, I get why people like to use the phrase because, to me, when I hear somebody say person of color, they're trying to be more inclusive and not just talk about black people, right? You try to include other races within it. Well, obviously excluding white people. But you are very anti person of color.
As a white
phrase.
person.
As a white person, you're very anti that phrase.
And I'm onto that phrase because I feel when you lump people into a group together, it's sort of like erasing that person's problems.
Yeah. I feel like similarly to erasing things. Like you need to categorize in order to I feel like when people say people of color, it just it gets rid of certain identities. And then also in my experience, like by making us all one group, just like as an example of what that like leads to, I feel like it makes like other people of color who aren't black like feel like they can say the word nigga.
Oh, yes.
Wow, you're taking it to the next level.
No, I'm
No,
serious.
she's serious.
I believe you are.
And we've talked about this personally.
And this is
have
totally
talked
a
about
real
that.
thing. Like,
That's
I can't tell you how many, like groups of people that I have seen say the word, like, at parties or even casually, or, like, two black people. And I'm just like, it doesn't make it okay because
No.
we're all, like, melanated. It's not okay.
I also feel it's a generational thing now. I just could be my oldness speaking, but I have noticed that, like, because I don't know anybody in my generation across different races that would even attempt.
Except for Fat Joe.
Except for fashion. Okay,
And you give
listen.
him a class.
Well, no, listen. Here's the thing. New Yorkers are different. They are their own beasts. But in general, I don't know anybody in my generation that would be white or Latino or Asian that would dare to say nigga. But young kids are different, and they have some like new idea of
It's
like
honestly-
being global or I don't know. And
Honestly,
being okay.
it's because now it's like so cool to be like black and to be like a part of an oppressed group. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
That they're like, they want so badly to be a part of that because like we're basically making everything about culture what it is, and they want so badly to be a part of it. It's like, for example, like I've been to certain like Mexican frat houses and like Indian like parties and stuff like that, and like they say with such vigor, not even caring that like, or not even like hesitating to be like, it's not okay. Like I've seen Pakistani people say it, like I've seen like South Asian people say it, and I'm just like, but huh? Like,
right.
But you don't.
and nobody checks them.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, I mean, I lived in a predominantly Latino neighborhood, Mexican area, and then I lived in Puerto Rican neighbors, and they would yell that at each other all the time. And it's like, you're not, in like a friendly way in which black people use it towards each other. But like, still, I would be like, what? Like, you're like a 13-year-old, Latino kid. Why are you saying this to each other? Like, it's not cool.
Yeah.
And so, of course, I didn't approach them and tell them that. But, just like, I feel that's where you're going with the POC, that it gives you, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it totally.
And see,
totally.
I've always just seen POC as a way of like when people describe are trying to describe more than one race, and it's like if you're trying to list all the races, you're gonna miss one, right? And so then somebody gets offended. So to me, that's kind of.
I just say don't just say everybody with white people. Because typically when you're saying a POC, which
Okay.
is too close to POS for me, but
Okay.
when you say a person of color, you're not saying it in a context of to another person of color, you're a person of color, a person of color. You're saying it in a context in which this person of color is being treated because they are a person of color.
Yeah.
So it's
That's true.
and it's always from white people, for the most part. I mean, you're not gonna say that
That's true.
this person of color was because of another person of color treated them this way. So I don't feel that it's a term that's needed, because I feel that when you do lump that in, you lump other people's different types of oppression in together.
Yeah, and I understand that. I get
And
that.
that's my whole thing. I mean, everyone's been oppressed by white people in one way, shape, or form. Even the Irish, even though they're white, they were oppressed. But so, I gotta speak up for my people, sorry. I found out I was more Irish than I used to. But yeah, that's just my thing on the POC topic. So, well, we didn't actually talk about black versus brown discussion, because I know that brown, for a while, black people obviously aren't really black in the color spectrum. So, the absence of color. So, just like some people have said, I prefer to be African American, I prefer to be called brown. But I know that brown is also a term for Latino people, people from Middle East, like that. I don't know why we have the color term anyway, but we do. I've always known more people who prefer to be called black than African American.
Yeah, I'm still hardcore black. The whole African American thing is weird to me.
Yeah,
I always feel like when a black person uses African American on purpose, I'm like, how many white people do you work with? You know what I mean? Because that's usually how it feels. Because I feel like it was one of those terms that got created by white people, and they started using it on all the news reports and everything. Like, well, look at how progressive we sound.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That with the also short-lived Afro-American. You know what I mean? Just like.
But you, Ariam, are first generation.
Yeah, I just prefer black because it just is like all encompassing.
Yeah,
I
I feel that it's more. Man, I have no toss in on this. My point of it
we
was
love to hear it, though.
to bring back the clearness.
The clearness. Oh, I was gonna let us finish that. Don't you worry, I wasn't gonna forget this time around. I was saying that nobody says clear anymore. Back in my day, boys and girls. When I
In
get
wagons.
my old lady.
In wagons.
No, back in my day, a lot of black people used to refer to white people as clear. You know what I mean? Like you said, like
for real?
Because the whole idea being, they call us black, but most black people aren't. So they would call them clear.
I love that.
Yeah. Like, oh, clear people this, blah, 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 that. Oh, yeah. And I was like, and nobody's using clear anymore. And I
but
feel
I've never
a little
heard that in
sad
my
about
life.
it. Oh, yeah. It was definitely a little bit
Dang.
more my mom's generation. But
no, and I've heard multiple people say that as well.
Yeah.
And they're typically around our age.
a little
but,
age
like,
or older, yeah.
Yeah, like regurgitating things that were said before. Because like, I have a friend and her brother was like, "Y'all call us black, and we ain't allowed to call you clear." And I ain't black, I'm brown. Like, that kind of stuff. And I was just like, I'll call you whatever I want to. You want me to call you Chris? Just let me know, But I'm clear, I guess. I'm actually pink.
You are pretty pink.
I'm pretty in pink. But yeah, I'm more pink than I am white.
Yeah.
But no one says that.
No. But that's the whole
We
point.
do call it pink dick though. When we talk about white men, we call it pink dick.
Well, sometimes it's so like translucent Like, look at that. Because, I mean, obviously you ain't tanning your dick.
No.
It's just always like aggressively pink in my experience. But it has been a long time since I've seen one.
Oh. Well, I mean, sometimes, I'm not assuming that I've had more pink dick than you. But
it is, I think it's a fact. It is so.
But sometimes you can almost see through the motherfucker. Like, you see, like, the tiny little veins and capillaries and stuff like that. I don't know. It's not that I'm, like, examining
She's like, that's more than I needed.
microscope.
I just don't want to picture.
Yeah, no. Penises, I mean, I like the way penises look. You like the way penises look.
I do.
I bought you a book on dick.
That's right, because there's a lot of people who are like, I don't want your dick pics, this and that and the other. And listen, you should ask before you send a dick pic.
But you like sending this way.
Listen, if you receive a really good dick picture, feel free to send it on to me, because I do like the way they look. And I'm not offended.
I mean, I have a secret folder on my phone of all the dick pics that I've received.
Right.
And I'm not going to give out my secrets about sending out dick pics, but sometimes they're not my dick.
No. Oh, is that?
Don't reveal.
Well, I just don't like having my dick
doing?
pics out there.
It's very valid, very valid.
So
very valid.
I've received a dick pic from somebody whose dick is very similar to mine.
Oh, wow.
And so I share that
miss-
just in case it gets tossed out there.
That's good.
The only revealing thing is that the dude doesn't have hand tattoos.
Ah, gotcha.
So if you're listening, that the guy is holding his dick and he doesn't have tattoos on his hands.
like,
I have tattoos on my hands for people who don't know at
I
home.
thought you were saying you had like tattoos of a hand on
My
your
dick.
dick. I was gonna say, wow.
Yeah, it's praying hands.
Wow.
I can't.
Straight to hell.
And remember that to be beautiful and natural is the birthright of every woman. And I wish you all loads and loads of loveliness and good luck.